The Dunes of Despair. The barren desert landscape here is broken only by tall, surprisingly urban-like ruins that mark a people's failed attempt at ascension. Made of wood from the ships that brought them to the desert shores and bricks made of the sand and the mud, the structures have withstood this harsh desert weather surprisingly well. The people who built them, unfortunately, did not. Welcome back to the Guild Wars 1 Let's Play, everybody. Since we've entered another new region of the game, I want to take the time again to recap what's happening in the story so far. Isobel was part of an Ascalonian refugee caravan that fled Ascalon after the Searing following the invasion of the Char, a beast-like species that consider the humans to be invaders and have waged constant war for hundreds of years. Prince Rurik was exiled by his father King Adalbern for refusing to stay and decided to lead the refugees across the Shiver Peak Mountains to Kryta in the hopes that another human nation might lend aid to his people. Unfortunately, Rurik was killed by a Stone Summit dwarf named Dagnar Stonepate in an effort to buy time for the refugees to flee through the Frost Gate to reach Kryta. Upon arriving in Kryta, Isobel and the refugees were met by the Walking Dead and refused entry into the capital of Lion's Arch until they helped a group called the White Mantle push back the undead from the gates of the city. After successfully resettling the Ascalonian refugees, Isobel and her party were asked to assist the White Mantle once again at the Delesio seaboard to save a man by the name of Confessor Dorian who was under siege at the Temple of Tolerance. This is also where Isobel helped recover a powerful artifact known as the Scepter of Ore from a scribe named Dinas. These exploits earned Isobel acceptance into the ranks of the White Mantle as a knight. Her first task as a member was to escort an entity known as the Eye of Janthir to Loamhurst, a settlement along the Divinity Coast. The Eye of Janthir supposedly had the ability to determine if a person was chosen and deemed worthy of receiving training in the magical arts at a location called the Temple of the Unseen. As the Chosen were being escorted west out of Loamhurst, the caravan was ambushed and captured by a group called the Shining Blade. Isobel chased the Shining Blade into the wilds of the Maguma jungle, only to discover from a woman named Avenia that the group of guerrilla fighters were actually trying to save the Chosen from being sacrificed by the White Mantle leader Justicar Hablion atop a Bloodstone, a still misunderstood object. After stopping the White Mantle at Bloodstone Fen, Isobel helped the Shining Blade seek refuge at a hidden druid sanctuary called the Henge of Dinravi by opening a portal at Aurora Glade. Once at the Henge, Avenia asked Isobel to steal the Scepter of Ore from the Temple of the Unseen in Riverside Province so that it could be used against the White Mantle. After securing the Scepter of Ore from none other than Dinas the Scribe, who we met at Delesio seaboard, and successfully evading capture by the White Mantle with the scepter in hand, Avenia revealed that her true intentions were to have Isobel deliver the artifact to an Orian mage named Vizier Kilbron at Sanctum K to secure his assistance against the Mantle. While Isobel and her party were able to rendezvous with Kilbron, they discovered that someone within the ranks of the Shining Blade had betrayed their whereabouts and forced them to flee the mainland on a ship summoned by the Vizier. And this is where our new chapter of the story begins.
Up ahead, inside the Temple of Ascension, is the throne of Palantir. The gods gaze down from the Hall of Heroes, granting their favor to those who control the throne. But there is another spirit who sits upon that hallowed throne. The temple is well guarded. Get me inside so that we may supplant the usurper. He must be destroyed before I can retake the throne. Keep me safe while I cast the ritual to open the door.
The Vizier says that Isobel must ascend in the Crystal Desert and gain the power of True Sight if we're able to defeat the White Mantle and save Avenia and the other Shining Blade. After fleeing the mainland at Sanctum K with the help of an Orian by the name of Vizier Kilbron, our party arrives in the arid region known as the Crystal Desert at a location called the Amnoon Oasis. To get to the Dunes of Despair, first check in at Augury Rock to begin the Trials of Ascension by speaking with an NPC named the Great Ritual Priest Zamut, who will describe a series of trials you must complete if you are to be deemed worthy enough to ascend and strike back against the White Mantle. While you can complete the trials in any order, Isobel started with the Dunes of Despair to the south. When you are ready to begin your journey, head southwest through the Prophet's Path into Vulture Drifts. The Dunes of Despair entrance can be found in the center of the map. The main mission objective for the Dunes of Despair is to aid a human called the Ghostly Hero reclaim the throne of Palentia at the Temple of Ascension. There are several new enemy types to fight through on the way to the throne that we haven't encountered before, namely siege worms. These are immense sandworms that hurl boulders that do large amounts of splash damage to your party and need to be defeated as quickly as possible, as you need to ensure the survival of the Ghostly Hero. You will also meet another tribe of centaur called the Lasaru, who are pretty easy to deal with as long as you take care of the mesmer casters, who will cast Backfire and Cry of Frustration. The other enemy type you need to deal with are called the Forgotten, a snake-like species found throughout the Trials of Ascension who have been on Tyria for millennia. The regular Forgotten aren't too much trouble, but the elites need to be defeated quickly as they cast powerful elite skills that can cause trouble for your party. I might also suggest that you bring in a signet of capture so you can get some of these skills yourself. After defeating the usurper on the throne of Palentia, your job is now to defend the Ghostly Hero. The 3 Trials of Ascension were designed to prepare players for the player versus player game modes, and this one is similar to a King of the Hill type match. As you defend the Ghostly Hero from waves of enemies, try to flag your henchmen or leave another player near the throne, as you see we did here. The bonus for Dunes of Despair is one of the most difficult to complete in Prophecies, as it requires coordination and timing to achieve without losing the Ghostly Hero. While keeping the Ghostly Hero alive, your objective is to defeat 3 Forgotten generals stationed outside of the Temple of Ascension, as it is under siege, but you only have 10 minutes to do this. Now, I have no doubt that I would have really struggled with this mission had I tried to do this with henchmen. However, my ally Minerva was able to focus on defeating the 3 generals in time, while I made sure that our friend the Ghostly Hero survived. After defeating the generals and waiting for the timer to run out, we get our end of mission cutscene.
We have drawn the attention of the gods. Let us hope they are pleased.
Alright, so the ghostly hero says that by capturing the throne of Palentia, we have drawn the gaze of the human gods who need to be convinced to grant us the power of true sight to use against the White Mantle. We have now taken our first step towards doing just that. We will attempt our second trial next time at a location called the Thirsty River to the east. I hope you'll join me as Isobel and her party continue their journey in the Crystal Desert. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you want to see when the next upload goes live.